All right, today we're heading to a place called Pachmarhi. It's this gorgeous hill station in Madhya Pradesh, often called the Queen of Satpura. And yeah, it's beautiful, but trust me, there's a story here that's way deeper, way more complicated than you'd ever guess just by looking at it. So, let's get into it. So, if you pull up a tourist map of Pachmarhi, this is pretty much what you see, right? It's all about the waterfalls. Fall is a big one, and these amazing viewpoints like Thupgard. And of course, a bunch of famous caves. It looks like your classic, perfect little getaway. But what if the most famous landmark on this whole map is hiding a secret in plain sight?
That's the big question, isn't it? The town's name, its most famous caves, they're all tied to one of India's greatest epic tales. But then, you've got archaeology telling a completely different story. So which one is it? Let's start peeling back the layers.
Okay, first up, we have to start with the story that everybody knows. This is the myth that really gives Pachmarhi its name, its whole identity. This is a story you're going to hear from every local, the one you'll read in all the tourist guides. And the clue is right there in the name. I mean, it couldn't be more direct. Pachmarhi literally breaks down to Panch, meaning five, and Marhi, meaning caves. The entire town's identity is wrapped up in this one landmark, these 5 caves carved right into the rock.
And this is where the epic tale comes in. The local belief, the story passed down for generations, is that these 5 caves were a shelter, a home for the 5 Pandava brothers, the heroes from the Mahabharata, during their long, long years in exile. It's this incredibly powerful story that connects this sleepy hill station to one of the biggest legends of all time. But just when you think you've got the story figured out, in comes the Archaeological Survey of India, and they have a completely different explanation, one that's not based on myths, but on actual physical evidence they found right inside those very same caves.
And here's where it gets really interesting. It's basically 2 stories clashing. On one side, you have the myth, 5 shelters for 5 epic heroes. But on the other side, you have the archaeology. These rock-cut chambers look a lot like Buddhist monasteries or viharas, and they've been dated to the 1st century BCE. So is it a tale of exiled heroes, or is it a much quieter history of meditating monks? This quote from a local tour guide, MD Salman, just sums it up perfectly. He says that the locals will passionately tell you the Pandavas took shelter here, but history is quietly whispering a different truth, that it was actually Buddhist monks who carved these caves. It's a place where folklore and science are living side by side. But hold on, the story is not over, not even close. Let's fast forward a couple of thousand years because a whole other group showed up and completely changed the face of Pachmarhi, adding another layer of history right on top of everything else. So get this, in 1857, a British Army captain named James Forsyth basically stumbles upon this hidden plateau, and the British immediately saw its potential. And man, did they move fast. Just look at this timeline. In 30 years, they'd set up a police station, courts, and even a summer house for the governor. They weren't just visiting, they were building a whole new administrative center from the ground up. And they kept track of everything. We actually know that back in 1882, the construction cost for the court building, the Tehsil building, was exactly 31,998 rupees. It's a tiny detail, but it just makes that whole era feel so much more real, doesn't it? And the British didn't just build for work. They were building a home away from home. I mean, they put up churches, a social club called the Pachmarhi Club, the Bison Lodge. They even built a military sanatorium so soldiers could recover in the cool mountain air. Oh, and a massive golf course. They literally reshaped the landscape to look and feel like a piece of Britain. So, we've got the myth, we've got the monks, and we've got the colonels. You think that's it, right? Nope. There is one more layer to peel back. And this one is the oldest, the most hidden of them all. This story takes us back to a time before any epics were written, before anyone was carving caves, and long, long before any empires even existed. See, scattered all around the area in these other rock shelters, you find these ancient paintings. And these aren't just scribbles. They are like little windows into Pachmarhi's deepest, oldest secret, a time when the very first humans called this place home. And this art, it shows scenes from everyday life back then. People hunting, dancing, just being in a community. It's a super vivid record of a society that's long gone. But it leaves you wondering, who were they? Who were the original people of Pachmarhi?
Well, to answer that, we have to rewind way back to the Mesolithic or the Middle Stone Age. We're talking about a prehistoric period, something like 10,000 years ago. And it's known for a key piece of technology, these tiny, really refined stone tools called microliths. And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle. Archaeological sites all around Pachmarhi have confirmed that this was a major settlement for these Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. They were the ones who painted on those rocks. They were the ones using these little microlith tools. They were the very first people to call this beautiful plateau home, long before any monks, myths, or kernels ever showed up. Okay, wow. So what do we do with all these different stories? You've got the Pandavas, the Buddhist monks, the British captains, and now Stone Age hunters. How do they all fit together? Let's try and map it out. When you lay it all out like this, you realize Pachmarhi isn't just one story. It's like a stack of different histories, one on top of the other. It's a living museum. At the very bottom, you have the prehistoric hunters and their art. Then you get the ancient monks carving their monasteries. The timeless myth of the Pandavas is kind of woven through it all. On top of that, you get the colonial layer that built the town we see today. And finally, its modern identity as this awesome tourist spot. And this is the really important takeaway. These stories don't cancel each other out. Not at all. The myth of the Pandavas is absolutely true for the culture and the people who live there, even if the caves were technically built by monks. The British buildings are just as much a part of Pachmarhi's identity as the ancient rock paintings. They all exist together at the same time. And that really leaves us with one last thought, doesn't it? The next time you visit some famous place, or heck, even just walk down a street in your own town, stop and ask yourself, what other stories is this place holding? How many hidden histories are sitting right under the surface, just waiting for someone to find them?